All right, so we are recording. Welcome back, everybody, to this segment of Get to Know Our Athletes for the All-American Kettlebell Open. I'm here with Lorna Kleidman, and for me personally, this is a highly anticipated interview because she's such an inspiration to me. So, Lorna, thank you so much for uh, doing this interview with me.
My pleasure. Great to be here. Thank you, Dana.
Absolutely. Uh, we can just jump right into it, Lorna, and you can give us a little bit of backstory on yourself. How long have you been in kettlebell sport? What inspired you? And how is everything going so far in that journey?
Well, long story, but I'll keep it condensed. So my first competition was in 2007. And back then, it was with WK, let's see, what was it? IGSF.
Mm.
IGSF, which no longer exists, but IGSF was one of the founding organizations of kettlebell sport coming from Russia. And back then, the women were only allowed to do snatch and only allowed to lift the 16 kg. There was no opportunity to do 20 or 24. It was just 16.
Wow.
And that's where I started, was with 16 kg snatch. But going back before that, for about a decade, I was a fitness class junkie. So my cardio endurance was really good. Prior to all of these classes, I had terrible asthma, but throughout a decade of taking these classes at my local gym in New York, I was able to build up the endurance, get my lungs stronger. And then I moved to Florida in 2005, and I was introduced to a trainer who had recently moved to Florida as well from New York. And I started working with this trainer, and he was at that time the partner and instructor for Kettlebell Concepts. I had no idea about kettlebells. I saw them in my previous gym in the corner, lined up, and once in a while somebody would do a windmill or a press or something, but it was never utilized. I knew nothing about them. So as this trainer was teaching me strength training, barbell work, all of this, because I wasn't really familiar with lifting. I was doing all this cardio. He started to introduce me to kettlebells, kettlebell fitness, figure eights, presses, fun stuff, Turkish get up, not hard style, just fitness movements. And then he said, I've heard about this thing called Kettlebell Sport that's new in America. And there's a coach in California who is from Russia. And my trainer said, I think you'd be good at this because you love to work out, you love to have a goal, you have a good cardio base. And I said, well, if you think I'll be good at it, then I'll go for it. And if it weren't for this trainer's guidance or suggestion, I would have never looked into it.
Hmm.
So then I went to California, worked with that coach for a while, and then entered my first competition in 2007. And I did well, and I thought, well, what else can I do? And I just stuck with it, went to the 20 kg, then later went to the 24, and still here.
Now here you are.
Here I am, still
So
doing it.
starting competitions in 2007, here we are in 2024. How many, you might not even be able to count on two hands, but how many world championships have you been to? And how many world championships have you won? And what are those experiences like?
I think I've been to 7. Well, it depends what you're calling a world championship.
Mhm.
I consider the world championship either IGSF, WKSF, IUKL. It
Mhm.
depends because there's a little bit of some people call world championship when they're not. But among those three organizations, I've done
Mhm.
7 world championships, and I've won my weight category or my age. If I've entered in the masters, I've won. So I've won. Usually I'll do 2 lifts. I've won one of the lifts, sometimes 2. So 7 world championship wins. But
Wow.
yeah, I've done a lot of other local competitions as well.
Mhm.
I stopped counting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Um, you're in this world, you are known as the queen of snatch.
Hmm.
When people talk about you, it's like they know you because you're such a phenomenal lifter.
Hmm.
And I just want to say that I'm grateful for you because you've even given me some advice on my snatch technique, and it's helped tremendously change the trajectory of where I'm headed. So I want to thank you for that.
I'm glad to hear that. My
Absolutely.
pleasure.
hmm Uh, so speaking of competitions and where we are and age and things like that, how does an athlete who's quickly approaching 60 still compete at the highest level?
Yeah, I ask myself that all the time. So, um, the intrinsic motivation is still there. The the animalistic drive is not as present as it was. Like it used to be on my mind all the time. Training, lifting, getting my numbers up. What do I have to do to get better? Like all the time, obsessive. And that's good for a while because it gets you to break through many plateaus and it gets you better. It gets you to problem solve and think about your technique. And um, it really helps to drive you. But when you get older and when, kettlebell sport is not no longer like the number one thing on your mind all the time, you uh, settle into working hard, but also just letting things be what they are. So, if I'm not breaking through and making big numbers all the time, I know it's going to come back. So when you go to a competition, a big competition, then you take some time off and then you ramp up again. It used to be like, I used to panic and be anxious of why aren't my numbers back where they were? It's just learning how this whole process of adaptation works
Wow.
and understanding that as we get older, you have to be very patient. So it's the patience, it's the trusting yourself, and um, and knowing that if you don't make the exact number, like I don't shoot for an exact number anymore.
hmm
I shoot to do the absolute best that I can do on that day because that's all we
Absolutely.
can do anyway, right?
hmm
I don't really, I mean, I have a range in mind, but I don't go in saying I need to hit this number the way I used to.
hmm
And it's just a perspective shift.
And I think that perspective could be, attained by all individuals across all age brackets. You know,
Right.
patience is a huge virtue, and that's actually one of the things that I'm working on right now with specifically in the snatch technique is the patience. Not rushing the pull. You know, allowing the swing to the low swing be the swing and
Yes.
pull at the end of it and not at the bottom. And then
Yes.
being patient on the drop and trying to find that sweet spot where the kettlebell isn't pulling too much when you regrip. So it's definitely a huge patience thing.
Yeah, there's patience in the overall training,
hmm
right? The patience of the cycles of training, and then there's patience within the set,
hmm
and there's patience within the rep.
Absolutely.
There's patience. It's all about right. It's all about working hard, being relaxed at the same time, and being patient. So it's a very fine balance of
hmm
many factors.
I think that's why I love kettlebell sports so
Yeah,
much and why I've become so obsessed, I believe, is because yes, you are working hard, but it's such a weird thing to try to teach someone how to or teach yourself how to work extremely hard, but also be as relaxed as possible during these sets. Like how can you teach this level of softness within
right.
these lifts? It's such an incredible thing that I'm, you know, I'm finding
It's
myself
an
as well.
incredible journey, and that's what it takes a while to incorporate that efficiency
Mhm.
of hard work, but knowing when to relax. That's what takes a while to ingrain, especially as you get into the heavier weights.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Lorna, with this vast amount of experience that you have in the sport and as a fitness enthusiast, as a fitness coach, what is some advice that you would give to a new lifter who was thinking about competing? Let's say they were,
yeah.
brand new to kettlebells, or maybe they have some experience with kettlebells, but they're thinking about a competition. What would you instill in them?
Yeah, I would say go for it. Absolutely. But understand the rules. Really pay attention to the rules because that's so important. But go and try it. See if you like it. See if you get the bug. Some people just do one competition and they feel like they've done kettlebell sport, they've
Mhm.
done kettlebell sport. Um, and then that's it. It's like one and done. But and that's fine. You get a little taste of it. But if you really get the bug and you want to continue and see how far you can go and climb the ladder, then I highly suggest you get a coach. That's imperative. You get a coach
Absolutely.
to help guide you because you can't. I don't know many people who write their own programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number one piece of advice is go for it, and
Go for it.
you
And if you
must
want
get
to
a
stick with
coach.
it, yeah, get a coach for sure.
Get
And
a coach.
there are a lot of good coaches out there.
Absolutely.
There are many to choose from, and I've worked with many of them. And yeah, so I'd say if you want to stick with it, definitely get a coach. It's worth the investment, no question.
That's awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, I've worked with just a couple different coaches, and I'm working with Nikolai Punchlov now from Pro Kettlebell, and
Hmm.
gonna gonna stick with him for a little while. I'm hoping some goals for myself is, well, Kim Fox wants me to go to Worlds this year, so
Yeah.
we might see where we
Oh,
go.
why not?
Yeah, why not?
Go for it.
Plus,
It's
it's in
fun.
Italy, one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
Exactly. It's a great destination and
Mhm.
yeah, plan on it.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
What are some goals for you? Are you planning on maybe going back to Worlds this year as
Oh,
well?
I'm going to Worlds. Yeah, I'm going to
Absolutely.
Worlds for sure.
That's awesome.
I'll be doing a 24 kg snatch and then masters category double 12 kg long cycle.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you still involved with the American Kettlebells Lifters Union? You held a seat for a
I
while,
was
right?
on the board.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not on the board anymore, but
Okay.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
they're fantastic.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think what they're doing, uh, making the sport much more accessible, I believe, in the US. I think
It's
they're doing great
fantastic. They
work.
work hard and they have really their finger on the pulse and they're doing a great job.
Hmm.
Yeah, for the American lifters, they're doing a great job in holding all of these competitions, holding opportunities to do video submissions, which is important for some people if they don't have time or funds to travel.
Hmm.
Um, that's it's wonderful what they're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Coming into a competition set, uh, preparing for a competition set, preparing for Worlds, how do you mentally prepare, and how do you stay mentally focused on game day?
Um, I'll go back to many years ago when I first started. Um, my mind would go all over the place. Like, am I keeping my pace? What is the person next to me doing? Um, do I have the energy to finish on this side? Am I going to have to switch early? My mind was not, I didn't know how to focus my attention. I did hypnotherapy, I did sports psychology, I did meditation, visualization. I did everything possible to learn how to focus. And now 17 years later, I don't really use any specific tools anymore because it's kind of become ingrained.
Mhm.
So I don't do a specific, method going into the competition. I just focus on feeling what I'm doing and staying present. And that's it. And the less pressure I put on myself, which I used to do,
Mhm.
right? So now the less pressure I put on myself, usually the better I do.
Yeah.
But that took a long time to get there.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Right.
think an extremely hard thing um, is the being present thing.
Yeah.
You know, it can just slip away so easily, and we don't even realize it. You know,
Yeah.
just staying present is extremely. It can be extremely difficult, but there are ways that we can ingrain that in ourselves
Yes.
to be better over time, right?
Staying present, especially in enjoying the feeling of what you're doing, even in the drudgery and even in the pain of it.
Mhm.
It's just enjoying the feeling of what you're doing, the activity of what your body is doing and what your breath is doing. And if you can stay with that, that will hold your focus, or at least for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So let's say minute 8, world competition. You're mid mid set. Do you ever does your mind what does your mind do in that moment, in those moments?
Um,
Can you recollect and revisit some of those moments and just tell me about your experience?
at that point, I'm just trying to make sure that uh, I'm keeping a pendulum with the bell because I don't do well. If the bell goes straight down into a vertical position and I have to snatch it from the vertical with the 24, it's not going to go back up. So I need to keep some semblance of a pendulum.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm thinking about is like at the end, um, or toward the end, I'm thinking about keep some kind of pendulum so I can get it back up.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking more about precision uh, and just getting those last reps in. Um, and yeah, there are times when like at minute 8, it's like, oh my God, you look at the clock and it's like, oh my God, 2 more minutes. Are you kidding me? That feels like a lifetime. And then you just have to regroup and go back and like, okay, focus on 10 more reps. Let's just do 5 more reps. Keep breathing. And, you just hope that the time passes really quickly as you're, counting down.
Mhm.
Um, and that's it. I'm not sure. It's just really just trying to take it in bite-sized pieces, you
Mhm.
know, like 10 more reps, 5 more reps, things like that.
Yeah, little small segments.
Yeah, exactly. Just focus on small segments at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah, otherwise it becomes overwhelming. And then like thinking about 2 more minutes it's impossible. So you just have to break it down. Like forget that you saw 2 minutes and just focus on this next chunk of reps.
Mhm. Absolutely. Keeping that pendulum is especially in the last few minute or last minute or so of
Yeah,
either the left or the right side, it can be tough.
yeah.
Yeah, I notice I start to lose that as well. And I try to keep it, and then, it
Yeah,
just
between your back,
mhm,
absorbing that downward motion and the grip, and then trying to get back up. I mean, there's so many times when the bell goes down and I have a small pendulum still, but then I can't get it back up. And it feels fine going down, but then it doesn't go back up, and that sucks. That's
right.
happened a couple of times. It's like it felt fine, but then it just didn't go up.
Mhm. I've seen a few people where they lost that they start doing the squat snatch, right?
Yeah.
And they start really dipping down,
Oh,
and
it's
they're almost
beautiful.
in a bottom squat to catch the
Yeah.
bell, and then they have to squat up and for that
If
lockout.
you can do that, it's fantastic. I don't have the hips range of motion for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't get into that deep squat, so I can't utilize it. But I love to see that. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I think I can't remember exactly. I watched so many of these competition
Johnny
videos.
Benitez does that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Johnny
famous for
Benitez.
that.
Mm. That might be who I saw because I
Yeah,
was just like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know you could actually do that.
remarkable. He's
Hmm.
remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Leading into coming into the All American, what does it mean for you to participate in the All American Kettlebell Open this year? Um, and how do you think you're such you're such a phenomenal athlete? And how do you think this is going to contribute to your growth as an athlete?
Well, anytime a lifter goes into a competition, especially if it's an in-person event like this, it's always a learning opportunity. Every time there's something to learn about the mindset, about the performance, about everything. There's always an opportunity to learn. So I'm just excited because I know that a lot of my fellow friends are going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing them, and it's going to be in a big venue, and it's going to be exciting and a lot of energy. And I'm looking forward to it. Anytime I get to compete in person is uh, is an event, is a great opportunity. So I'm really glad that you're holding this. And I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens. And the fact that it's a qualifier is a big deal. It's great.
Yes, we the
Yeah,
AKLU is um, we are
sponsoring. Yeah, so
sponsoring and we
one of their events, sanctioned events. Yeah,
sanctioned
which
events.
is
Yes, ma'am.
it's fantastic. What a great location. Then we can go out and have fun afterward in Atlantic City.
Absolutely. It
Yeah,
was last year. It was such a good time. Dennis Vasilev came out and uh, he and I and just a few others went out to dinner and we had some barbecue and it was such an
so much
amazing time.
fun. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the camaraderie afterward. That's half of the fun and half of the
Mhm.
experience is the camaraderie afterward. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's always epic.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
And I look forward to meeting you in person.
I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I say you're such an inspiration to
Oh,
me,
thank you so
and
much. I
um,
appreciate that.
and it's going to mean a lot to. It means a lot to that you're going to be coming.
Thank you.
We wanted you to come last year, but you couldn't make it. But this year we got you, and I look
I'll be
forward to
there.
meeting
Thank you so much.
Lorna. Um, where can people find you? Talk about services that you offer. We want to promote you
Sure.
a little bit, and if someone wants to work with you with such a
Yeah.
high level coach, where can they do that?
Okay. So my website is lornafitness.com, or actually it's lornafit.com. And then on Instagram, at Lorna Kleidman. And the Lorna Kleidman page is dedicated to women over 45 who want to stay fit. It's not kettlebell centric. I include kettlebells with my at-home workouts for my mature ladies, but it's full body workouts. This is personal training, and they also have access to my library of over 125 workouts, 4 different levels. Some of them are body weight workouts, some of them are dumbbell, some of them are kettlebell only or kettlebell and dumbbell, a wide variety of different types of workouts for women over 45 and over. And then I have another page on Instagram that's Kettlebells with Lorna, which is dedicated to kettlebell sport, my training, some videos there, and other information about kettlebell sport. But you can contact me on any of those sites and work with me. I don't write programs anymore for clients who want to do kettlebell sport, but I do technique coaching.
Mm.
So if you want to have a session or a few sessions with me and work on your technique on any of the lifts, that's what I can help you with kettlebell sport. If you want general fitness or GPP for kettlebell sport, I can help you with that too.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Lorna, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
joining me for this. It's been such an honor.
All right,
Um,
let's go train, and I'll see you in Atlantic City.
yes, ma'am. I will see you in just 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness, so fast, it's coming up.
Coming up so fast.
I'll see you then.
All right, Lorna. Thank you, and
Thank you.
have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.